For 2 straight weeks, a teenager named Joshua lived a real-life nightmare inside his own home. He endured slamming doors, disembodied whispers, and the suffocating feeling of being watched. But his parents completely laughed it off as an overactive imagination. Driven by pure desperation to prove his sanity, Joshua grabbed a camera and climbed straight into his dark attic. He was looking for any sign of an intruder. But what he ended up provoking was something far worse.
All right, can you knock that can down again, like you did earlier? Ooh. Oh my God, okay. Okay, no more.
The moment Joshua asks the entity to repeat a previous action, a metal can is suddenly launched across the room with violent force. Joshua finally had the undeniable proof he needed, but his parents still dismissed the video as a coordinated prank. He has stayed completely silent about the haunting ever since. If your own kid showed you this footage, would you laugh it off or immediately pack your bags? Reddit user SakiGate9281 recently uploaded a piece of home security footage that is completely breaking the brains of internet skeptics. It begins in the dead of night when the home security system suddenly blares into life, shattering the silence. An unprovoked alarm is terrifying enough. But what actually tripped the sensors defies explanation. A pale, misty entity slowly begins to glide directly across the room. Keep your eyes locked right on the wall behind it. As it passes the light source, it casts a distinct, perfectly synchronized shadow against the background. A camera artifact or a trick of the light cannot block physical illumination like a solid body. With the footage being so fresh, the homeowners are still completely desperate for answers. Is this definitive proof of a spirit manifesting a physical form? Or is there a tech glitch we've never seen before? A group of friends taking a vacation to Mexico in September 2025 decided to ditch their smartphones and use an old-school disposable film camera to capture their memories. But once the film was finally processed, one specific photograph turned their dream trip into a living nightmare. At first glance, it looks like a completely normal, happy vacation photo. But look right past the shoulder of the girl on the left, directly into the heavy shadows of the background. Right there, in the darkness, humanoid figure staring directly at the group. It is entirely out of place, sporting a hollow, terrifying look that resembles a character straight out of a horror movie. Skeptics argue this is simply a random local or another tourist who walked into the frame unnoticed. But examine the positioning. There is something deeply unnatural about how this entity is lingering just inches away from the girls without anyone noticing a thing. If this was just a regular person, how did an entire group completely miss them standing right there? Daniel Thompson and his mother love collecting rare antiques, but their latest acquisition brought something deeply malevolent into their home. an old, elaborate dollhouse. It started with rhythmic tapping echoing from an empty bedroom. When Daniel finally set up security cameras, the phenomenon localized directly inside the miniature walls.
Where is this coming from? It's like knocking at the door. Hello?
Listen to the audio right here. That is a distinct heavy knock coming from the tiny bathroom door inside the toy. But when Daniel opened it, the space was completely vacant and he was entirely alone in the room. Soon the intensity escalated. Small toys inside the house began migrating on their own. Then came the midnight terrors. Daniel was abruptly awoken by loud knocking in sets of 3. He investigated the room, but as he turned around, his camera caught something impossible. Pay close attention to the face of the main doll right here. That is not a trick of the light. The entity inside the house was looking directly at him, deliberately blinking its eyelids. Desperate for peace, Daniel banished the dollhouse to the garage, but the entity simply expanded its territory, stalking his mother with the sound of rushing footsteps while she watched TV alone.
This is my daughter, Lady Mary Talbot. Oh, everyone's going. You as the rest of us really have. But I hope you enjoy it.
Yes. I went over to America 10 years ago to try my luck, and I've been there ever since. There it was. They call us the Hollywood Rock.
It never stops there. You know that.
Last time I was there.
Skeptics immediately claimed the blinking doll was just a mechanical glitch, but Daniel shut down the internet doubters with one final, undeniable video. Look closely at the inside of this figure. There are absolutely no batteries, gears, or wires hidden inside this plastic shell. It is completely hollow. If there is zero mechanical power running through this toy, what exactly is moving those eyes and throwing objects in the garage? Drop your absolute best theories in the comments, because there is no way I would keep this thing on my property for another second.